All right, guys, we are going to go ahead and get started right now. Thank you again for joining us today. My name is Daniel. I am the VP of Technology for White Shark Media, and I'm very excited to take you guys through this webinar today. And joining me, we have Jason. Let's go ahead and kick it off, Jason.
Thanks, Daniel. Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Klarfeld. I am a strategic partner manager working with White Shark Media for Google. Based in Austin, Texas, really excited to be here talking to all of you today, teaching you a little bit more about some of our smart solutions that we have offering that you can now surface through AdInsights. So thanks, Daniel, and everybody for having me.
Awesome. So the objective of today's webinar is to make sure that those agencies joining us today leave this with some knowledge about AdInsights, how the platform came about, what it can help you do, what are some of the use cases in which we feel it would benefit you guys throughout your day-to-day sort of use cases, and also what are some of the available automated Google solutions out there that can help improve performance both on existing accounts within your portfolio and also potential prospect accounts as you go through your day-to-day and acquisitions process. Now, AdInsights is a PPC audit tool that we've designed in-house, and we've been working on it for quite a bit of time now, and we've done lots of testing and things like that. And essentially what it does is that it helps you select any account within your portfolio, and within just a couple of minutes, you'll have a detailed audit with several different recommendations on all the different areas of opportunities, from performance-based, targeting settings, best practices, and more importantly, they're presented in an easy-to-read format so that you can share it with a potential prospect, or you can share it with the account managers on your team. Regardless of the knowledge level, you'll be able to get through and get some really good value out of the suggestions within the tool. Now, this tool is designed for agencies of all different sizes and all different kinds. It can help agencies in two different processes. One of them is the account management process. So if you have an account team that is maybe running out of ideas on how to tackle an account optimization from a PPC standpoint, then you can use AdInsights to come up with new ideas and get creative about it. And if you're talking about acquisitions, then it's a great way to be able to speak to a prospect, get that prospect to link up to your account, to your MCC, and then you can actually perform an audit through here, get a recommendation set, get a score, get some nice visuals in it, some nice lingo, and then provide that prospect with that audit so you can wow them and kind of give them an idea of what you would do differently on their account based on real performance, and then you don't have to invest a lot of time to be able to go through that and generate those recommendations. So some of the benefits of using AdInsights, again, you can audit any account within just a few minutes. Obviously, that depends on the account size, but our team internally always works on improving the times for those things to happen. You can get up to 30 different performance-based recommendations, and more importantly, those recommendations get added and improved as we go through different quarters, as we go through user feedback, and then we'll continue to add more recommendations into the line. You can download these audits as a PDF, and you can actually include your logo. So obviously, White Shark Media's logo will not be there when you send it to your prospect. And it's, as I mentioned before, it's a great way to empower your sales team or to help your account management, get creative on getting things through the cracks. So very, very simple process. You'll create your account through our White Shark Media website. We'll do a demo at the end of how to go ahead and get started. Then you have to sign in with Google so that we can act on your behalf and retrieve the information directly from Google servers. Once you've done that, you can select which account you'd like to audit within your portfolio. And then finally, it's your choice of how to profit, whether that is by saving your account management team time, by getting to the recommendations a lot quicker, or it is by actually getting some prospects on board with these great audits that can help as part of a proposal pitch, or something that you can tag along when you're trying to acquire a prospect. So as I mentioned, up to 30 different recommendations that we can identify through AdInsights. And more importantly, there are 3 that we are going to focus on today and expand on why those recommendations are so important, how those can benefit different sort of accounts. And those are smart bidding and non-last click attribution models, smart display campaigns, smart shopping campaigns. And we're going to go ahead and have Jason go ahead and take it from here to show you guys how you can make that work, okay? So I'm going to give Jason the word on here now, and Jason, you can take it from here.
All right, Daniel, thank you. Really excited to be talking to you today about a few of Google's solutions to really help you capture that opportunity and why we are actually moving towards more automated solutions that will help your team be more efficient and in the end help your client and the advertiser be more successful. So first I want to talk about smart bidding and really set the stage here. So just think back, it wasn't even 10 years ago, bidding was pretty simple. You used to choose specific keywords and bids based on the likelihood that that keyword would actually convert, and then you'd set your campaign up and just kind of let it go and do its thing. Then, came along mobile devices, which we all know has really just changed everything. So there's now more signals than ever, and marketers need to account for like device types, time, and location. And then today, we can actually track more signals than ever before. So this makes targeting our customers more complex, but way more effective when adjusting your bids based on each unique combination of signals. This has made it way too difficult for just one person to actually possibly manage on its own. And with these types of advancements in machine learning, we can now compute bids faster than ever before. So this is the future of smart bidding, and I'll go into a little bit about that, about what that actually is in the next couple of slides, and we'll cover briefly how you can use smart bidding to your advantage. So what does smart bidding solutions actually help you do? It helps you work faster by leveraging machine learning capabilities. It analyzes millions of signals and variables that are impossible for a human being to quite frankly do on their own. And our tools proactively set real-time bids for every auction based on learnings from each past performance. It also helps you work smarter. Who doesn't want to, actually work smarter and make more out of their time? These automating bid management process actually frees up bandwidth to focus on more strategic work, and it helps you win more. We're all here to get a better return on our investment. So our strategies help attain a better ROI without surpassing the financial limits that you've set. And in addition to these types of benefits, smart bidding will help you maximize the impact of other strategic initiatives in your account, such as audience targeting and multi-touch attributions like non-last click, which I'll get into a little bit deeper in the next slide. But smart bidding automatically incorporates your remarketing list at the account level. So along with signals from different audience types like affinity audiences, detailed demographics, in-market audiences, our algorithm automatically takes these signals into consideration and adjusts bids for your key audiences across all campaigns. It removes the need for continuous manual adjustments to audience bid modifiers. Now, smart bidding also leverages insights from your non-last click attribution. Multi-touch models, particularly non-last click, help you understand the value of each interaction with your Google Ads advertising. And smart bidding assesses these touch points and prioritizes those that are most impactful. It automatically sets optimal bid based on the attribution, creating less manual work. So let's look at a quick example. So think of the last time that you booked a vacation online. More than likely, you did not click complete purchase on the first try, right? So, you spoke with your family about going out of town, maybe going on a nice vacation, and started doing some research on your phone like best summer holidays. You planted the seed and then maybe revisited the next day at work on your computer knowing you wanted to go somewhere warm and searched bed and breakfast in Bahamas on Tuesday. Then the next day, after whittling it down even more, you went back to the bed and breakfast that appeared the most and searched for Paradise Bay, Bahamas until you finally clicked and converted. Now, how important were those touch points leading up to your purchase decision? Think about that. Many advertisers today are only focusing on the last click and actually miss the opportunity to assign value throughout that entire customer journey. Now, with Google's attribution models, we actually have 6 attribution models available on Google Ads accounts. And to be frank, any of the non-last click attributions are better than last click itself, because all of those assigned values leading up actually mean something and help you with better performance. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on each of these, but we'll advise that if you actually have enough data to support data-driven attribution, you definitely should go that route. Now, to tie it all together, advertisers adopting automated bidding, audiences, and non-last click conversion attribution together see an average of 31% uplift in conversion volume in their search campaigns. So that's a pretty high yield. And smart bidding will help you and your team create better efficiencies with your clients, helping you work smarter and win more while you focus on more strategic initiatives to drive business. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about the other side of smart bidding and what actually will optimize your campaigns even more, and that's with creatives, specifically around smart display campaigns. So simply put, smart creatives and smart bidding are better together. So with the best bidding solutions out there, we still need to think about our advertisers and how they actually behave with ads. And that's why smart creatives are equally as important to optimize these conversions. So let's look at a few examples on how to do this. So why are we focusing on smart creatives? 75% of advertising impact is determined by creative quality. Here's an example for you. I went to New Orleans a couple of months ago and booked my hotel based on the ad with the most comfortable looking bed in it. I know that sounds crazy, but when I actually saw an ad that was aesthetically tight, had high quality photos, and used descriptive words like comfortable and clean in the headline, that ended up catching my attention. And I could have saved a few more bucks somewhere comparable, but ad quality mattered in determining how I made my purchase decision. Now, think yourself, what's the last hotel that you booked or purchase that you made online, and how much of that was influenced by the imagery and attractiveness of the actual ad itself? Now, no need to really get discouraged on this if you feel like you need to start from scratch. We kind of simulate this in 2 different ways: the tuning up your ads and how to actually grow them themselves. So for ads that require a tune up, you'll start with what you already have: headlines, images, descriptions, and logos that have performed well in other ads. You're not removing existing display or search ads, instead supercharging your ad groups with responsive display and search ads. Now, once those assets are set, you can move in ultra speed by introducing dynamic search ads and smart display campaigns by combining best-in-class smart bidding, auto-targeting, and responsive creative formats. Now, in the interest of time and what you all are here for, we'll focus today's presentations on the growth engine, specifically around smart display campaigns, and how they can actually save you a ton of time and increase effectiveness with your ads. Let's start with a stat. Advertisers who use smart display campaigns see 20% more conversions at the same CPA when compared to their other display campaigns. Why? Because smart campaigns are set up to deliver that right ad to the right user in the right moment every single time. So let's break it down a little bit further here. Smart display campaigns offer a simple solution to display advertising that lets you broaden your customer base and win new conversions. When you set up a smart display campaign, you automatically select the best combination of assets to give you the best performance. In this way, you can learn which of your headlines, descriptions, images, and logos actually perform best. Then you use smart bidding at every auction to optimize that at scale, and use remarketing lists automatically to target those customers most likely to convert. It's pretty straightforward. Smart display campaigns are intended to simply be implemented. All you need to do is enter the building blocks for your ads. Think a target CPA, a campaign budget, creative assets, and we'll actually do all of the heavy lifting for you and find you as many customers as we can within the CPA bid and budget that you control yourself. Smart display campaigns are intended to make your life easier and drive more growth to your campaigns. So now that we've covered a little bit about automated bidding and the creatives that actually help with your campaigns, now let's think about the timeliness of this with holiday readiness. How do we actually get ourselves prepared for the long holiday season that we're foreseeing? And a lot of that is combined with smart shopping campaigns, which I'll talk about in just a minute here. So I know we all feel it, holiday time's crazy and it's something that we all can relate to, right? Got to get the gift for the cousin, got to get the gift for the family. Just recently in this past year, $850 billion of US retail was sold during the holiday season, and it's probably not surprising. For the first time this past holiday season, 61% of online purchases were actually made on the smartphone. So this is changing how we're actually behaving with our products earlier on. And even when they're shopping in stores, they're using digital to help them decide what to buy. Nearly half of all of US retail sales are now digitally impacted. Now, what this means is people are searching much earlier than ever before, and you need to be there early to influence both in-store and online purchases. So what you can do to capture this opportunity and make sure you're being seen when your customers are searching. First, you got to accelerate. Holiday is a marathon, not a sprint. And retailers that consistently push and perform along the full journey will win. This starts with making sure product feeds are up to date and reliable for inquiring customers, all the way through to driving conversions during and after the peak shopping season. Additionally, add in audiences to ensure that you're connecting with the right shoppers and realize success at scale. You got to connect with your customer. Speed and simplicity matters, and it's important to put your best foot forward. Delivering fast, frictionless experiences not only improves the consumer experiences, it ultimately improves the retailer experience in the form of increased conversions and revenue. And then finally, you have to drive action. It's a long holiday season, and shoppers are completely holiday shopping far in advance of Cyber Monday and Black Friday. We need to be smart in connecting with shoppers throughout the season by ensuring we have the right products at the right time with the right promotion in each shopper moment, and subsequently understanding the value impact of each interaction to fuel our optimization cycle. This is utilizing smart shopping campaigns which help you win more. All right, smart shopping campaigns. So what actually are these? So smart shopping campaigns are campaign types for retailers that leverage machine learning to drive simplicity, performance, and reach. Simply put, these new campaigns radically simplify campaign management to enable you to reach high-value shoppers without having to invest more time and effort to do so. How do smart shopping campaigns achieve this? Well, we use your business goal to automatically optimize campaigns. Machine learning lets us intelligently optimize the campaigns across the intent signals to reach your goals. And we also optimize your ads across Google channels, not just shopping and google.com, letting you reach the right user with the right ad at the right time. So at first when we start, it all starts with the goals. So the goal of this new campaign type is based on the retailer's business objective. Today, we support one marketing objective, which is maximize conversion value. And this means that your campaign will auto-optimize towards maximum sales revenue for your budget. Optionally, the retailer can set a target return on ad goal, which will automatically optimize towards maximum conversion value at or above the target return on ad spend that the retailer specifies. Now, smart shopping campaigns work by leveraging Google's ability to process lots of data with advanced machine learning. Smart shopping campaigns start by continuously analyzing Google Insights on user queries, intent signals, audiences, brands, product basket size, and it all determines the patterns that correlate with online conversion data. And then at the auction, smart shopping uses all of these insights to decide whether the user is likely to provide high value and how much you should actually bid to maximum value, or excuse me, to maximize the value. Which product is the right product to show at any point, and whether to actually show that ad in the first place. So it does all of this in just tenths of a second and achieves great results for our retailers, so teams don't have to spend that time manually managing all of this. So to help you reach the right users with the right ad, we're combining your traditional shopping and dynamic remarketing to more efficiently maximize your sales across Google channels. Smart shopping campaigns use one feed and one remarketing tag and have your budget automatically allocated across channels based on that performance. And a retailer only needs one feed, one remarketing tag, and one campaign to reach users across Google. So we'll automatically optimize budgets across channels so the retailer doesn't need to manually adjust budgets across shopping and display marketing every time. So one big difference I want to make to help your products be seen more, smart shopping campaigns actually reach users, like I mentioned, in multiple channels. So search, search partners, display network, YouTube, and display, where traditional shopping campaigns only show on google.com and Google shopping feeds. So who doesn't actually want to reach more customers where people actually are spending their time? And to wrap up smart shopping campaigns, with another statistic, is using SSC has seen an increase of 30% more conversion value at similar costs than standard shopping campaigns. So think about what you're doing now with shopping and what you could be doing and how much time it will actually save you. But not only that, how much more return that you're actually getting. So for this holiday season and beyond, really think about the opportunity and that headroom that you have to capture by testing out these campaign types. So we just covered a lot of information in a little bit of time here. First talking about smart bidding, how by utilizing audiences and non-last click helps really improve conversions, saving you time, helping you work smarter, and getting you a better return on your investment. Smart display campaigns are simply there to help kind of alleviate and do that heavy lifting for you when it comes to deciding what I should actually do with my display, and leave it up to us to make sure we're delivering the best ad. And then also just making sure that you are prepared early and getting in front of your customers and setting your budgets now for holiday time. And no easier way to do that than with smart shopping campaigns. And so a note that I actually want to end on, and I usually tell a lot of our partners in these webinars, this just to understand that, not every solution is the right fit for your customer. We know that, but allocating even just 10% of your budget to trying something new is the only way to help you grow and see where the opportunities are. So think about what that 10% looks like that you can actually test and what that return would look like when it actually works. So that's the end of my portion here. I will now pass it along to Daniel to take you on a tour of AdInsights, where it'll actually help surface these recommendations so you can implement them today. So thank you very much. Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you, Jason, for that. And I'm going to go ahead and take it from here. So we're going to go straight into a demo, guys. And let's go ahead and exit out of this. And we are going to jump into our website. So in order for you guys to go ahead and get started creating your account, as I mentioned, simply head over to whitesharkmedia.com. Now at the top here, we have a tool sections for AdInsights and Optimizer. We will talk all about Optimizer in a separate webinar coming up. But for now, let's jump into AdInsights on here. And you can click on Generate Your Audit Now to go ahead and create your account. Now on here, it's very, very simple. Simply enter your first name, last name, and a few additional pieces of information. Make sure that you accept our terms of service, very simple, very standard terms, and you can then create your account, okay? Now, once you've created your account, you're going to get an email for you to set your password, and that's how we can verify that your email address is valid also. So just a little minor process in there. And once you've done that, you'll be taken to your Audit's homepage. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that is going to look like. Just a second. Now, once you're here, you're going to see the two different applications that you will be granted access to, both Optimizer and AdInsights. And once you sign into AdInsights, this is a little bit of what you're going to be welcomed with. This is your audit screen. On here, you're going to see a list of all the different accounts that you've audited, along with the date range that you selected, obviously the CID, what is the account health that we believe this account has today, how many optimizations or areas of opportunity was the tool able to find, and what is the spend in that period of time, right? Now, before you ask, yes, you are able to customize the date range. By default, it is the last 30 days, but you are able to audit last 14 or last 7, and upcoming, you'll be able to also select a custom date range in case you maybe want to go further back than just last 30 days, but those are the 3 most common ones that our team has found themselves to be using. Now, as I mentioned, you will have to sign in with Google. So when I click perform a new audit, you'll be prompted with 3 steps very quickly. You have to select a company. So I'm going to choose one of the ones that we've already got created on here. If not, you can always add a new one. Then once you do that, we are going to click next. And then you'd have the ability to sign in with Google Ads or Microsoft Ads. Once you click on sign in with Google, that would take you on here to be able to do the standard sign in with Google flow, okay? So we are going to skip that, but that's just to kind of give you guys an overview of how you would typically be able to do that. It is important that you guys sign in because otherwise the tool will not be able to see your accounts, and we have to be able to connect to Google Ads API on your behalf to download all of the information regarding settings, ad groups, keywords, campaigns, all the different things that are happening in an account so that we can tailor the recommendations and kind of land them down into the specific context of that account. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into a couple of these ones. The first one that I want to show here is department store. Once you pull up an audit, the first thing you'll see is this big health score over here. That is based on simply the amount of opportunities that we feel your account has versus the amount of, let's say, things that we checked for. So it's a very standard scoring system. And then you have the metrics on the right-hand corner to be able to showcase what is the cost within that period of time and how that compares to the previous period. One of the features that we've been asked to do is to also allow you to customize which metrics are going to be showing up here. That is also on our roadmap today. So now these are the metrics that you'll be able to see, and these vary depending on whether it is a lead generation business that you're auditing or if it's an e-commerce business that you're auditing. So in this particular case, it's e-commerce, so we see that there is some conversion value in here. Now, there are up to 30 different things that we check for, and those go, as I mentioned, from things that have to do with the return on your investment, things that have to do with your targeting settings, things that have to do with competitive metrics, and a couple of recommendations that are just general best practices like your negative keywords, the amount of ads that you have per ad group, and things like that. We've divided them into different categories that you can click through. So make sure that once you do your first audit, you explore all the different recommendations that we'll have available to you. Now, one of the things that we work hard on is making sure that we don't provide too much wording for it because otherwise it gets a little bit heavy. As you can see, there are a lot of recommendations on this account as an example. And so if we just went very deep on each of those, it would be a little overwhelming for the account teams using it or for a prospect going through the PDF. So we make sure that we brought it down to just a gist of it to give you an opportunity. At the end of the day, these audits are meant to just be very clear-cut recommendations that then you can go ahead and expand on by either using the Google Help Center or any additional knowledge base that you have. So that's kind of the idea, right? So you're able to expand these recommendations by clicking on the expand, and wherever we have a suggestion, there's usually additional details coming along with it. So if it's keywords that are not converting, you'll see which specific keywords there are. If it is search terms, which search terms are those? If it's particular ads, you'll also see which ads are not working correctly. And a lot of different recommendations on here along with the details. So lots of content to be shown, but let's focus on some of the things that we covered on with Jason earlier today. Here, for example, we first talked about bidding strategies and the importance of automated bidding strategies, and it's all about leveraging something that can help you take performance to the next level without you having to have a lot of hands on that account and being too careful with bidding and upping it and lowering it every week and things like that. We used to have to do that, but we don't have to do that today. And so when you run an audit, if we find campaigns that are still doing manual cost per click bidding, then we'll go ahead and showcase to you that there are opportunities for you to maybe use a different bidding strategy, such as maximize conversion value or maximize conversions, depending on the setting. So if there's revenue being accrued, obviously we'll recommend something along the lines of target return on ad spend. If it is a shopping campaign, then we'll do maximize conversion value. If it is, if it's a lead generation business, then we'll focus maybe on target CPA and things along those lines. So it's going to be very specific to the settings within those campaigns, the context of the accounts, and also the performance data behind them. So you'll quickly be able to accomplish that goal. Another thing that we touched on is attribution models. And over here, you can see, for example, that if we are able to find conversion actions within that account that are still using last click or first click for that matter, then we are going to recommend any of the additional attribution models. And personally, within Weisshark, we like to use position-based when data-driven is not available. Obviously, when data-driven is there, we obviously jump on that. But when that's not available, we typically with position-based. But as Jason very clearly mentioned, any of the non-last click attribution models are going to work out really well for you guys, as long as you are choosing an attribution model that will provide value to each of the touch points. Because at the end of the day, what's important is that you're able to understand fully that customer path and make sure that your customer, in this case for your prospect, is on board with that by showcasing that opportunity. So it's all about exposing these different areas and then being able to deliver the right pitch to those either prospects or existing customers so that these suggestions are applied. Now, we have another audit over here that I wanted to pull up, which is chilling air conditioning repair, and we are going to go ahead and jump into that one really quick. Another thing that Jason touched on quickly is also smart campaigns. So on this one in particular, we are checking, for example, if this account has a shopping campaign that is just a standard shopping campaign, but it meets the criteria for a smart shopping campaign, right? There's a certain conversion requirements to them and things along those lines. So we are going to go ahead and proactively check for those signals to make sure that we recommend that you try smart shopping campaigns. And as Jason stated, you definitely want to give that a shot, at least with 10% of the budget, and kind of run an experiment to see how those two stack against one another. And more often than not, at least inside Weisshark Media, our account team has been able to deliver great performance results by implementing those smart shopping campaigns. So you'll be able to see this and then learn more about them by actually going into either a blog from Weisshark telling you a little bit more about the shopping campaigns, or to the help center and actually learn how to implement them, the benefits and things along those lines. Again, the importance here is to make sure that you can deliver a package that has all the different areas of opportunities. And then when you're presenting it to your prospect, you can decide where you want to spend some more time on. So that's one of the ways that you can uncover some of those opportunities. And finally, we are going to go into one of the other ones on here, which is consulting services. And again, this is how it would look if the campaign is eligible for smart display campaigns and smart creatives. We'll go ahead and show you a card similar to this one to make sure that you can try it out, give it a go. And it all, again, depends on whether or not you meet the criteria so that you can go ahead and implement this. So we're not just going to recommend it across all accounts. there's a certain settings and a couple of conversions and performance history that we take into consideration before doing these recommendations. So lots of material that we were able to cover today. And again, I encourage you guys to make sure that you go through the sign-up process. It is free to sign up for AdInsights. It is going to continue to be free for a foreseeable amount of time. There's lots of good value that we've been able to uncover from this. And again, the most common scenario that we see with agencies is that when you have a prospect that comes through and they're already running a Google Ads account, you can go ahead and perform an audit and be able to use this to build your proposal. So you can use it either to generate the audit and then send it in advance while you work on a proposal, or you can actually build the proposal based on the recommendations that you see here that you would feel that actually makes sense to present to that prospect. And we've seen great success rate with our own partners in terms of acquisitions from that standpoint. And also our team internally uses it to drive upsells and cross sells and things along those lines to get additional budget opportunities and things of that nature. So lots of different use cases for this. And more importantly, our team is very actively in terms of development. So we are always looking to hear from you guys in terms of feedback for additional features that we can incorporate into the tool, additional checkpoints that we can add into the tool. And again, if there's anything that you'd like to see done in here, you can always share it, and we'll be happy to take that on. So that concludes the demo for today. And what I'd like to go ahead and do is kick it over to Jason to see a couple of the questions that he would like to go ahead and cover today.
Yeah, appreciate it, Daniel. Thank you for that overview as well. Something that I didn't cover fully in the presentation that is a question that most people have when starting about shopping campaigns is, how do I know which is the best bidding strategy to actually start with? And I think that's a very valid question because it just depends on, what your actual business goals are and how much you actually know about your actual conversion tracking and what you're looking to achieve. So to kind of outline it, there's 4 different conversion types. There's maximize conversions, target CPA, target return on ad spend, and max conversion value, which is relatively new. So with maximize conversions, it's just that. You are looking to get as many conversions as possible within a set budget. And usually advertisers with no clear goal yet, or they're just trying to see if the conversion process will work, this will ensure that it spends 100% or at least close to 100% of your budget. So SureFit Max Conversions is a great place to start. With Target CPA, it's really asking the question, how much is that conversion worth to you? So historically, conversion tracking, if you have conversion tracking available and a basic sense of what amount of conversions would actually make you happy, Target CPA is a great route. It's a great way to make sure that you're spending your budget and you're hitting within that target that the value of a conversion is worth. The problem is if you have campaigns that are limited by budget, and it might not work because it's constantly trying to get conversions, at a certain limit. So you want to make sure that you have a really good understanding of that conversion value when implementing Target CPA. Now, both max conversions and Target CPA can start from scratch with no conversions previously, and even if you're setting up a new account. Just keep in mind that historically it works well when it's set up with at least 20 clicks in a day, just so it can learn. And if no performance, the learning period will be slightly longer. Otherwise, you can expect it to kind of get in full swing around 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the performance that it's already seen. Now, the third bidding strategy is target return on ad spend, or target ROAS. Now, this is great for those who already understand their product. They know the margins that they're looking for. that they're targeting. They know what profit looks like. Generally great for e-commerce businesses that really can break down the value of their product. Now, the difference with target return on ad spend and the others is it does need historical data, so 15 conversions in the past 15 days. So this is a requirement in order to unlock target return on ad spend versus maximize conversion and target CPA. Now, the last one is max conversion value. So let's say that you have 5 different kinds of conversions that you're tracking. So form fills, calls, web visits, and all of these are deemed as conversions. You can actually assign value to how much those actually weigh. So for example, let's say a call is worth 1 point or like 1 value. A form fill is 2. A website visit, you're able to assign those values and it'll maximize conversions with the highest amount of value. And this is all set at the conversion setting. And so, based on this question though of how do I know if I'm just getting started, or how do I know what the best bidding strategy is to work with? I think the more information and historical data that you have, the easier it is for you to answer this question. But if you're just starting out, we highly suggest trying maximize conversions or target CPA. If you have no conversion tracking, definitely go with maximize conversions. So, another question I wanted to address here is around smart display campaigns, which is pretty straightforward, but most people are hesitant in launching smart display campaigns because they don't know when their ads are going to show. So it feels like it is a black box. So how do we know if smart display campaigns are actually working? And this is a great question and totally valid. And unlike search, there's things that you cannot clearly see on the display network. But remember that display is great for that top of funnel where your customers are spending over 90% of their time. There's a reason why search is so easily measured, is because it's much more transactional, and you're only on search 10% of the time you're on the internet when you have a bottom of the funnel activity. Now, with smart display campaigns, you don't need to worry about anything. Like I said, and it's kind of my phrase, like Google does all of the heavy lifting for you. You don't need to think about, adding demographic targets. Should I add a topic targeting or whatever else that is? Just supply the assets that you have with the spend provided for smart display campaigns, and those will show the right ad to the right target. And it's designed to do all this for you, and it shows that it is a much better uptick in value than just manual display campaigns. And so the final question that I wanted to address, and I did mention this, but I want to reiterate it, is how are goal optimized shopping campaigns different from the smart shopping campaigns? Well, let's go through 3 advantages here. The first advantage, smart shopping campaigns does everything automatically for you. So with regular shopping campaigns, you have to input all the information, update the product feeds, update the keywords, all of the photos. Smart shopping actually does this for you. Now, shopping number 2 is shopping just shows on google.com and on the Google Shopping, which is, I think, google.com/shopping, where smart shopping campaigns shows across Gmail, YouTube, search, display. And third, return on ad spend on smart shopping campaign versus regular shopping campaigns are much higher, converting at 20% more. So a couple of the drawbacks there, you need to be advertising at the country level, so not on regional targeting. So if this is something specific to like e-commerce that can ship nationally, or you're trying to get brand attention, smart shopping campaigns are great. If you're really focusing on local inventory or trying to address people within your demo, it's not quite there yet. So regular shopping campaigns are good to you. second drawback is you don't really have a lot of control, for better or for worse. You need to be confident on the performance. So, a 2-week period generally is what it takes to learn. And budget utilization might be an issue there as well, where you set a low target return on ad spend, which shows care more about volume than it does about price itself. So, set a budget so you're not limited by budget. And if you have products at different spend levels, it's better that you group them separately. If you have too many, it minimizes the number of campaigns to actually run. So the main advantages of smart shopping campaigns is to get something out in the ether, make sure it's touching the right people across the internet, across Google, and it's also, it has a much larger reach and much higher conversion rate when using it compared to regular shopping. But again, it's based on, the country level and not domestic level. And, lastly, we've seen those that have moved from regular shopping to smart shopping. Most have continued to use smart because it simply, makes their lives easier. It is much easier to manage from a feed management perspective, and definitely see some greater results. So I'll pause for a second. If there's any other questions that we might be able to address, we'll do so, or else hand it over to Daniel.
Thanks, Jason. The one question that came across the most is, will there be a recording of this webinar? Yes, you guys, the webinar is recorded, and we will share the video recording through email to all of the attendees, and also to some of the people that may have missed it for one reason or the other. The webinar recording will be available, certainly. Now, we also have another question, which is how much is it to use AdInsights? There is no cost associated with AdInsights. It is a free platform, free to use. As a matter of fact, to those who are on the webinar today that are existing agency partners of White Shark Media, feel free to reach out to me directly so that we can go ahead and do the setup for you guys. And for those of you that aren't, you can absolutely sign up for free through the website and go ahead and get your accounts audited and up and running. Now, another question that we are often asked is how many audits can you do? You could do as many audits as you'd like. The audits currently, you have to do them one by one, but in the future, we will have automatic audits, let's say every certain period of time, so that you can get delivered score updates straight to your inbox if maybe you want to follow up or do anything along those lines. Another question that we get is, again, the date range. So I just want to remind everyone that they can use whichever date range they would like to go ahead and go through that. And so you are able to choose a different date range. Now, the PDF, as I mentioned, is also downloadable, and you can include your agency logo in there to be able to use that. No problem at all. Now, I want to be very mindful of the time, when it comes to this webinar today. So I just wanted to thank everybody for having joined us. It's been great. Thank you so much, Jason, as well, for your support today. And for questions about AdInsights that you may not, come across right now, or that you'd like to maybe ask later, you can feel free to reach out to info@whitesharkmedia.com with any questions you have. We also have chat on the website in case you want to ask some quick questions over there. And again, I encourage everybody to go ahead and give that a shot and give me your feedback. I'm always very, very active, on those emails and those chats to make sure that I get everybody addressed in terms of questions and things like that. Okay. Jason, did you want to add anything else before we go?
No, thanks for having me, and appreciate the time, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.